how did this all come to be?
So Worth, I've been training at a Muay Thai gym for, I guess, close to about 9-10 years now. And, you know, when you're in the gym and you train, you make friends with the instructors and the pro fighters and things like that. And, you know, when you make friends, you're telling each other stories. And I would just kind of like listen to like their life experiences and everything like that. And the story kind of just wrote itself until, you know, one day I asked my gym if I could film there, and they granted me permission. And then the next thing I know, we're filming.
What are some of the challenges of filming in a set location like a gym that's, you know, being used actively?
You know, it's very, very loud in the gym. And I think, yeah, the one who had the most difficult time was my sound guy. But a lot of times, you know, we were able to get them during off hours. But then, you know, when it's off hours, there's not a lot of people. The gym looks empty. So it was tough to try to kind of balance that out, you know. But I think we did a good job with that. It looks, you know, we were able to get extras and things like that who were able to volunteer their time, and other than that, yeah, we were able to get the sound that we needed as well.
When you're filming in a gym and you've got all the sounds of the ring and the reverberation and everything else, how much of that did you have to just mute out and just do in the studio just to get a quality product?
I know there was a night where I just spent with with our sound engineer. He was just recording. We went to, you know, the gym while it was closed off hours, and we just recorded, you know, sounds from punching bags to me falling on the ring, and, you know, everything that you could think of, we got Foley for, just to make sure it was nice and crisp and clear, just in case. And then he used like a majority of it too, like 90% of what we recorded that evening.
Without spoiling it too much, what can you tell me about the story itself?
The story itself, Worth is about a young, you know, Muay Thai fighter that lives here in the States, which is, I guess, important. You know, it's very different Muay Thai here than, I guess, Muay Thai in Thailand. But it's kind of a universal story where a lot of fighters these days, you know, depending on whether it's, you know, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, or MMA, like they don't get paid like the big bucks you would see, you know, like on HBO, or, you know, making millions a fight, you know, Floyd Mayweather, things like that. Like a lot of these guys, they fight in these, you know, amateur bouts or these city bouts and things like that, get paid very little, and a lot of the money that they make, they're made from teaching, they're made from, you know, doing private lessons, or, you know, working at the gym. And that's kind of, you know, and it's hard, it's a struggle these days, but they pursue it because they love it. And so the story is about, you know, someone who is in that life, and things kind of turn for the worse, to where it gets even more difficult to kind of like, you know, live on such, you know, meager means, if that's the right way to put it.
So it's basically a struggle at all ends, more or less.
Kind of, yeah. It's a very, you know, it's a very character story. Yeah, just trying to keep your head up, and just trying to, yeah, just follow your dream, even though, you know, things suck sometimes. But you know, you just gotta look. It's hard to, you know, just look at the positive side, but just to keep moving forward, you know.
How much of this is directly related to your experience?
I would say a lot of it's based around my experiences, and my friend Jose, who's also like one of the story collaborators, and my trainer, my Muay Thai trainer. He, you know, a lot of the pro stuff is based on his stuff, and then we based a lot of like the main romantic interest, the main girlfriend of the story. We based off, you know, a couple of our girlfriends. You know, we kind of just merged those personalities together, merged a lot of the experiences and things like that. So I would say a good 40% would be me, and then 40% would be him, and then 10% would just be the drama of the movie, you know.
How'd you find that perfect mix between the drama and then the everything that has to take place within the ring, whether it be the training or the actual sparring or the bouts or whatever?
Sorry, one more time?
How did you find that good mix of the drama to focus on outside of the ring and then what to actually show within the ring itself?
Well, we knew that, you know, doing the fight scenes and the ring stuff was going to be like the hardest part of the film. We just didn't know how difficult it was going to be the first time. So we had, you know, 2 days for that shoot. And on the first day, the ring promoter, the team builder, didn't bring a crew with them. So our film crew had to go and build the ring before shooting. And so that took, we never built a boxing ring before. So it's kind of like, so we had to go and do that before actually shooting. And then we were able to shoot some stuff and then, save it for the next day. And then the next day comes in. Thankfully, there was a ring crew that time, but my opponent didn't show up. So we had to find a last-minute opponent. And that turned out to be a blessing in disguise. And so, it just, me and him were able to fight a lot better, and, we looked smoother and everything like that. So it gave me a good amount of footage to use, but I knew it wasn't going to fill in an hour and a half. It was kind of like, all right, I need to make the story to where, we got to care about this, we got to care about the character. We got to, see what his daily life is like and, like, kind of find, determine whether we wanted the fight to be the climax or not. And like, what, the, fight is only, this amount important. Maybe we throw this in there and that in there and, kind of try to make it, last, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. When you had to spar with another person, what did you just do it for like an hour or so, or did you actually go round for round and just filmed everything and just cut it together?
So we did rehearsals for the fight scene. We would go through and, and kind of things like that. And then when we did that for about a week before, because I've been training at the gym, the pretty much. So I trained for about 6 months before shooting, and then it took us about a year to shoot, and then I just trained throughout the whole year. And we did the week of rehearsals for the filming, and then by the time filming came around, we did the first take. And Jose, who's the action director, because he's a pro fighter, he comes up to us and goes, "Yeah, it's not looking real. You're going to have to take the hits." And so for the rest of the day, we were kicking each other, punching each other, clinching, doing everything. And it's crazy because a lot of times, like actual fighting, even where there's street fighting or like, fighting, it doesn't look like cinematic fighting. Everyone's kind of gotten used to Hollywood style with people throwing these big wide punches and like cameras are flashing. It doesn't really look like that in real life. So when you're doing real fighting, it's jumbled, it's messy, it's sweaty, but it's very it hurts. But if you're paying, you can see the technique. Like if you watch, good fighting, whether it's like, fighting on TV, you pay attention to technique, and that's kind of like what we kind of went for as far as actually hitting each other.
So you can confidently say that you've got a lot more realism in your film than most Hollywood productions.
Well, yeah, I don't want to say that. I was just saying we chose to focus on something different than that. We chose to focus on what fighters at this level, because we knew we weren't going to get a big stadium, things like that, the MGM hotel casino. Like we kind of went for like these bouts that we see people fighting. They call them smokers or PKB bouts. Things where people are doing them. They do them at high school basketball gyms. They do them at community centers. They do them pretty much anywhere they can. These little functions, like local functions, and that's kind of the look where we were going after. The bare bones, low level type thing, and I mean, from what I've seen in real life to here, it looks pretty legit.
What's some of the most strenuous parts of your training that you have to do?
Diet. Easy.
I used to be a weightlifter, so yeah, I can relate.
Yeah, diet. So you understand the struggle. Diet, it was tough, especially around Thanksgiving time. The diet was tough. Injuries, they happen. I've did everything from, spraining my foot to I had a little bit of concussion during a sparring match one time. The gym told me I couldn't fight for 2 weeks. And then by the end of it, which was crazy, was I had a problem with my back. I didn't even know what it was, and this was actually during the fight scene. Like, I thought it was just like, maybe it was just I tweaked something or anything like that. And I had to kind of deal with that, which thankfully we were able to get the fight scene and everything like that, because a week later I had to get, an operation, and that was that would have been all bad.
That's a lot of dedication for for a filmmaker. I don't think I've ever heard of someone putting themselves at that much of a risk to make a film. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, thank you. But it was one of those things where it's hard to find an actor who can also do like a martial art, especially at the amount of time that we needed. Everyone has schedules, everyone goes to work and things like that. And it's kind of like, well, I knew I was going to be there the whole time. And I've done my acting training. I went to, a few years at acting school up here in the Bay Area. And I was like, you know what? I feel like I can do this. And well, we got it done. So, I'm happy with it. I'm happy how it turned out and everything like that. So
you made it to distribution. I mean, that's one of the hardest things is to get it out there.
Yeah, well, that's actually like a whole different story too, because we went to the AFM, which, if people don't know what the AFM is, it's the American film market, where a lot of people, they go seeking distribution, and distribution companies sell movies and things like that. We talked to a few companies and everything like that, and this is the fourth film, and my first three have gotten distribution, but it was one of those things where, because the story was so personal for me, it was hard to like come up with a deal, something that was with was personal me, personal to my family, and everyone who was involved. And what we ended up doing was just going through an aggregator, which, if they don't know what an aggregator is, it's someone who takes your movie and places it in different channels or platforms for you. And that's just what I ended up doing, and that's how we got onto like Amazon and Tubi and things like that. And so I feel happy with the decision, and people, an audience is finding it, and that's like the most that I could ask for.
How's the reception been so far to your film?
You know what? We've had some really good reception. A lot of people have talked to me about it, sent messages that they liked what we did with the grieving aspect. I can't spoil the movie too much, but there's a lot of emotion, grieving and things like that, and they I guess compared it to their own experiences and like things like that, and like, and we had a screening and there was a couple people who still had tears at their eyes, and then I'm like, okay, that's all I needed. And then of course you got the negative Nancy's out there who love to trash movies on reviews, and I'm like, you know what, it's good with the bad, and I completely understand we're not going to have like I said, the big flashing lights and the Rocky thing, and and I'm like, it's okay. Some people, an audience will like it, an audience won't like it, as long as we get at least one person who enjoyed it. So I think we were able to succeed in that.
How did you get Tony Todd involved?
So Tony's great. Tony's
him and I go back a long time.
Yeah, and so he's one of the most friendliest, coolest, hippest people around in this business, or just in general. And so it was cool because it was a small, it's a small movie, and but the movie I did, like an action type film called Hunting Season, and in that we had an actor named Miguel A. Nunez Jr., who some audiences might remember from Return of the Living Dead or Joanna Man or Street Fighter, And so, me and him, we worked together, and we had a blast and everything like that, and I was able to get him in this film, him up. Yeah, sure, man. He came down, read the script, we filmed for a day. He really enjoyed it. He loves the crew and everything like that. And he's like, you know what? Hit me up if you ever need anything, everything like that. And he ended up calling a couple of his friends. He's like, hey, man, I got this guy. He's a young filmmaker. He's doing this movie and everything like that. And he was able to get him down. So he got Clifton Powell in film from people who know from, like, Next Friday, or he's in the show Sinners right now on Bounce, and Tony Todd, and read the script, and it was very different from him, and he was just like, he was really, connected to it, and he just wanted to kind of, he's a very theater guy, and so he's like, he likes to, a lot of people know him from horror, and he likes to branch out, and it's like, hey, this is something that I haven't, done, it's a Muay Thai, not a lot of people have done Muay Thai, but it was just something new to him and everything like that, and he came out to the Bay Area and shot with us, and hello?
Are you still there? Sorry, it went to like that weird silence where it just kind of like zero noise. Sorry about that. For those that want to see the movie, either by buying it or seeing it in theaters, where can they get their hands on it?
So Worth is available on Amazon Prime. It's available on Tubi TV. It's available on Vudu. It's going to be available on Comcast On Demand and iTunes next month. And then we do have the DVDs and Blu-rays available on Amazon.com as well.
Tubi is kind of like really coming up there, but is that only browser-based, or do they have apps on like Amazon Fire and Chromecast and all that?
Yeah, Tubi is pretty much available like everywhere. They have the apps on, Apple. They have the apps on Android. They have the apps on the Comcast Xfinity cable boxes. So people can just watch it right there on their cable box, on their TV. They can watch it on their laptop. You can, look for it on the Amazon Fire Stick and everywhere. So Tubi's coming up, especially because it's a free service, and people enjoy free. They don't have to put in their credit cards or anything like that. You just watch it, And Tubi is actually a very, very independent filmmaker friendly service, and they are so supportive to their indie filmmakers that, like, I don't know, you ask anybody who has their movie on there, and they're going to tell you that they're happy.
Yeah, in the last month or so, I've gotten so many press emails just saying, like, this movie is now available for free. Like, I've never seen this anywhere else. And then I went on the browser, was like, wow, they've got a lot of stuff on here.
Yeah, it's coming up, especially, since they added their app to the Comcast Xfinity cable box, and they've just been finding this audience, that, it's what people were looking for, I guess, especially now because everybody's having their own, like, streaming app. It's like, oh, yeah, watch Disney for $10 a month, or, CBS or whatever, and everyone, I think it's just overloading people. So when you have something there and they have, like, a whole bunch of titles, and I don't work for Tubi, by the way, but I'm just saying, they have a whole bunch of titles, and, it's like, here, check them out, and they have, like, so many cool stuff, and they're good to their filmmakers. I'm like, you know what, I got to support them. These guys are great.